and I'm going to hand you over to Waseem. Before I hand you over to Waseem, I would like to say a couple of words about Waseem. The first time I met him was about 10 years ago, and it was old school car park where he was running a cricket session. And he was then doing Handsworth Recreation Group, and I used to work for Bangladesh Youth Forum. I said to Waseem, Waseem is great, you're doing some excellent work. If you need any help, come and talk to me. He ignored me. Yeah. But since then, he's taught me how to Twitter, so I'll forgive him. Okay, so the truth is I'm very, very impressed by Waseem. He's a new generation of councillors, and he's done some excellent work. If only people before him had done some great work as he has, we wouldn't be in such a bad situation. So I'd like a warm welcome for Waseem, because I think he's doing some excellent work and he'll continue to go and do some excellent work.
Thank you for that very warm welcome, Aftab. Aftab didn't mention the relationship in between me ignoring him at the Leisure Centre at Holt and me teaching him to tweet, because there was a lot of positive work, and he's mentored me, if I'm honest with you. The person who got me to Holt Leisure Centre is also here, that's Jessie, who gave me the opportunity at the age of 18 to become a cricket coach there. So thank you to Jessie for taking me to Holt initially. I've been asked to speak about communities coming together, and there's two people who really taught me about communities coming together. Ironically, they're co-chairing this conference. My adopted mother, Camille, who's taught me all about the African Caribbean community. And I was ignorant to the traditions, the cultures of towards the African Caribbean community until I met Camille. And she is my adopted mother. She's in competition with my real mom. But I love her the same way as I love my real mom.
Well, who cooks better?
I'll tell you after the meal's cooked tonight. But Aftab, in his role initially at Bangladesh Youth Forum and then at Government Office Westminster as the Community Cohesion Coordinator, also taught me a lot about how we need to bring the different communities together. So for me, both have played a huge role in my life and taught me a lot about bringing communities together. 9th of July 2011, we were back here, the first conference. Before that, some of the hard work went into organising that very soon after my election. There was two key milestones agreed at that first conference. And as Mother Camille said, we're not going to go back and discuss some of that, but move the agenda forward. Those two things were, one, we're going to give neighbourhood forums and resident groups in this ward a real say in decision making and make them part of the democratic structures that exist in this ward. Give them a real say when it comes to decision making. Rajinder is delivering a presentation later about some of the work that's gone into neighbourhood forums and resident groups since then, commissioned by the council, through Jessie's office, through Ifor's office at the City Council. So we've made some huge inroads into that Rajinder will tell us about. The other key milestone that was agreed, it was felt at a workshop that we had at that particular conference that I know John Tyrrell was part of, Michael Brown was part of, Dilbagh Dhami was part of, that we've got so many fantastic third sector organisations, faith institutions, resident groups in this ward, but we need them to come together for the betterment of the community, to have one single voice. So we and a group of people have been working behind the scenes, commissioned again through the community chest of the Lozells and East Handsworth board to work on how we're going to address that. Is it going to be a CIC? Is it going to be a community development trust? What's the structure going to be? How is it going to be reflective of this community? So I'm pleased to say there will be a number of discussions around the work done around that, and hopefully that will get ratified or slightly amended if required by conference today. Communities coming together. What is our community? Who exists in my ward? I went to Handsworth Wood Girls' School last week. I met Nikki Walters, who's a fantastic head teacher there, who's actually related to the fantastic head teacher at Holt, the two key schools that I'll work with the pupils in my area. One thing stood out. Nikki said the pupils at that school, they speak over 30 community languages. So just take that into context about who exists in this ward. We've got some developed communities that exist here. We've got some newly arrived communities who are moving here all the time. And I want to tell you a story, and a real lesson that I've learned in the last couple of weeks. I was very, very ignorant and prejudiced against one particular community that has decided to settle in our ward on a temporary basis. And that is the Gypsy community. I automatically thought, because of media perception, But the Gypsy community is exactly the same as the Irish travellers, and we all know about the issues that Irish travellers face wherever they go. Until we had a small family who came and settled in Birchfield because of advice from the health service, children's hospital, and a particular issue, a sensitive issue affecting one of their children. One or two residents raised it with me, but they didn't raise any issues of antisocial behaviour. I was pleasantly surprised that the family actually approached to see me rather than me having to go see them. And they taught me. They taught me about what the Gypsy community is. And to my astonishment, a lot of the traditions of this particular family are very similar to my ethnic origin and my parents who come from Pakistan. So I was delighted to learn so much about that particular community. But it doesn't stop there. Communities coming together, they are part of us, and they are here today at conference. Kaz, you want to come up? This young man has not only, along with his family, come to conference today, they've been helping sign in. Some of you may have seen them. So this is what we're about, communities coming together. Even though they're here on a temporary basis, they are firmly part of this community. Can you please give that family a round of applause? I was watching, some of you may have watched Pride and Prejudice on Channel 4 this week, Make Bradford British, and I watched in astonishment. I felt hurt seeing these groups of individuals, small groups on either side, in particular in terms of Luton, but how they were dividing one particular community. But then again, I felt proud. I felt proud that that is not happening in our city. That's not happening in our community. And we need to learn the lessons from what's happening in Luton, what's happening in Bradford. And anyone who even gets anywhere near creating that sort of division in our community will do it over my dead body as far as I'm concerned. Because that is the last thing we need. Some of you may have seen EDL on there, and Tommy Robinson in particular. And me and Tommy Robinson have had a few run-ins in particular with their visit here in Birmingham in November, October or November. He said something about me, and I'm not bothered what he says about me, but I just want to make a point of clarification. He described me, they put a picture of me on their website, they went on TV saying, this Muslim councillor Waseem is creating all sorts of problems. Where he was wrong, I'm not a Muslim councillor. I'm proud to be a Muslim, but I'm a councillor for the residents of Lozells and East Handsworth who sent me to the council chamber. So, I've got 3 minutes, I'm told. Very quickly, I want to give a special mention. I was told as a politician, don't throw out names and don't mention individuals. But I think special people need a special mention. This is a special journey that we're on. So I want to mention the work of this group of 20-odd people, nearly 24 people, who've contributed to bringing the 3 conferences together, who've contributed to uniting this community, who've contributed towards some of the work we're doing. I mentioned the 2 co-chairs, Camille and Aftab, who bring so much skills to our community. Saeed is here somewhere, who's now Citizens UK Birmingham organiser. If there was one job that you can put together for Saeed, his perfect job is the organiser for Citizens UK Birmingham, and he's a great asset to our community. Sister Helen, who should be called Mother Helen because she's become the mother of our community. It comes with so many skills. She was on the front page of the Birmingham Mail recently for her outstanding work in supporting vulnerable people in this community, and we pay tribute to you and your fantastic work. Derek Douglas is here, who's a lead on the North West Birmingham Development Agency. Local lad, grew up on Westminster Road, somebody who brings so many skills to the table, who's supported third sector organisations for decades. Another fantastic asset towards our community. Dilbagh's here. Where are you, Dilbagh? He keeps changing his disguise. Dilbagh, again, is a fantastic asset. We used to work for the city, and he brings all that impressive talent with him, and he'll be presenting the vision. He's done some fantastic work around that. Doreen Osborne is here, who works with needs. Is a huge issue for our community. A huge issue for our ward, and she also is a director of a mental health organisation. Shabnam's here. Shabnam does some outstanding work with Anglesey Primary School and the playgroup and that. She's a real voice for women in our community. Amy from Aspire's here, but Amy being Amy is always helping out, doing something behind the scenes. Sister Mary Hogan and all your colleagues from Sisters of Mercy, thank you for everything you do. Minister Helen Jobling, they've allowed us to use Lozells Methodist Church without any cost to be the host of many activities, and she is a fantastic asset to us. Thank you, Minister Helen Jobling. Sean Simon, I'm not going to mention that he's about to stand for elected mayor. I just Sean is a Handsworth lad. He grew up in this area. He went to a secondary school in this ward. He is passionate about our community. He's here on a Saturday morning when he can be campaigning to be an elected mayor. And he facilitated workshops at our second conference. So thank you for everything you do, Sean. Gary Barney, who's just walked in from a newly arrived community, is helping integrate the newly arrived communities into the wider community. And a very important role he's doing there. Lincoln Moses, MBE, he's been running Continental Stars for decades and he's a real legend. And if anybody deserved an MBE, he was him. And today, he's advising the Football Association on how to tackle racism, a very, very important issue in light of what's happened recently. Mr. Handsworth, who's just got an MBE, Hector is a living legend, and what me and Hector have got in common is we grew up on the same road, Leonard Road in this ward, so thank you for everything you do, Hector. Rajinder is kindly videoing my speech for me so I can upload it onto YouTube later. Superman when it comes to community engagement. He has passionately about the community, and some of his work is absolutely incredible. Joe Burrow. Joe's here. Joe has changed the perception of Midland Heart. Yes. We're a big player. Her work is incredible. And can I announce it?
Yeah. People notice.
Okay. Joe is expecting her first child. It's due in August. I want to say the best thing of that. She is an incredible activist in our ward. Yvonne, we can't keep Yvonne out of our ward. Yvonne was the best ward support officer this ward ever had. But she's here today in her personal capacity because she's connected to this community. She feels part of this community. So this thing about officers not being part of the community, that is nonsense. Good officers are always welcome in this community. Two names. Simon Baddeley, right? Who's helped transform Handsworth Park, but more importantly, recently, Handsworth Central Practical Care Project, which is now called Helping Hands. He's a senior lecturer at the University of Birmingham, decades of experience. Next to him is Selvin, another very important person in this ward who does a hell of a lot of work in this city, so and in this ward. Thank you, Selvin, for everything you do. Mashkura's just walked in, Executive Director of Birmingham Leadership Foundation, one of us who's now succeeding and working across the city. Thank you for everything you do. I know I'm sorry. Just want to make one final point, Cheers, before I go. Joel, Catherine, can you come up a second, please? Some of you may recognize these two individuals, these two young people. Catherine, do you want to join us, please? They were here at our first conference as normal members of the community who wanted to be part of something. Mashkura facilitated the young people's workshop that took place as part of that conference. And she said to me after, the facilitators were expected to provide feedback. And what she said to me is, can we get two participants to provide feedback? And I was rushing around and said, Mashkura, fine, just do what you have to do. These were the two young people who provided feedback at that workshop 8 months ago, at that first conference. 2 weeks ago, Jawad was elected. After 35,000 young people voted as part of the elections, that's more than those that voted in this constituency for the last parliamentary election. He was elected, Jawad, as the Deputy Member of Youth Parliament for Erdington and Sutton Coldfield. Catherine was elected as the Member of Youth Parliament for Perry Bar and Ladywood constituencies. So, my final point is, there's two of us. We need to leave a legacy behind. Thank you. Thank you.
I think it shows you that together what can be achieved, even in a short space of time, and how we can really make a difference if we're doing it together. No man is an island. One thing I wanted to say was to thank City College, for allowing us to use this space and being so welcome that the staff team can't do enough for us. So please convey our sincere thanks to City College. I now have pleasure in welcoming Ifor. Is it Ifor?